Just as a personal note, I'm always a positive person, and today I just wanted to actually really address that particular item and this particular topic, and hopefully send a positive message to everyone that I know and anyone that may watch or listen to this. So with the quote today, and really it's a positive mind, positive vibe, and positive life, and we need to keep positive. And for various reasons, we talk to our friends, we communicate with other folks, and again, just watching and listening, it's crazy. It's pretty sad. I mean, people are depressed, people are concerned, people are definitely the reality of things is that things happen. We do have a pandemic. It is crazy. It is the first. Well, maybe not the first, because the fact of the matter, this is not the first pandemic. Probably will never be the last one. And we've had them throughout history. We've had other, tragedies over the last, 100 years. It would have happened. It could happen. It's not like it was not, something that was discussed with, multiple times. People have been talking about the potential of pandemic of any nature, of any magnitude over the years. And we've had movies, fiction movies, depicting, similar, status that we live in today. Outbreak in the 90s. There was Contagion. There was few movies, even zombie movies. As much as they are fiction and they have a little bit of a twist and fun, there's still something that happened that we've seen that we kind of expected, and we always say, well, it's never going to happen, not in our time, but it did happen. And the reason I am actually highlighting that is that that's my first way of thinking positive, is that we cannot change it. I mean, nobody could have predicted it in terms of when is it going to happen, how is it going to happen, what's the impact, and the death toll and everything, the impact on the economy. I mean, there were discussions, there were people that were talking about it, but maybe it went in deaf ears, or maybe nobody even believed that it could happen, and but it did, and that's the key. We can change things when they happen, and this already happened. Can we prevent it from happening again? Of course. So that brings us to where the positive thinking, and keeping the positive vibe and keeping the positive, life, is important. Because we cannot change things, and that goes for everything. When something already happens to you, whether you believe in faith, whether you believe in a religion or you don't, when something happens, you cannot really, change it. You cannot make, you cannot reverse time and go back in time and stop it. I mean, only in movies we can do that, but in reality, it doesn't. It happened. It's there. We have to literally just look at it, from that angle and say, okay, well, what can we do to adapt to it? And I would quote a good friend of mine, and something happened in a work environment, and his main line was, accept, embrace, and move forward. So the fact of the matter, yes, while this is sad, there are deaths. People are dying. There's nobody will undermine that. It could be any one of us. I know friends who actually have lost or have actually had the COVID-19 in the last few weeks, and it's pretty scary to actually know that. To be honest with you, none of us even tested, so God knows, if we were ever, exposed to it or not. We hope not, but for those of you who are watching or listening, let's just keep positive. I mean, there is the negative is here. I mean, we cannot change it, right? So the fact of the matter, it's we've had a pandemic outbreak. It's all over the world. For the first time, Earth has shut down. Countries have closed borders. I don't think that historically that ever happened. But we've had severe and more pandemics over the centuries, over the years. We have wars, and we have to sometimes start just focusing on one piece and looking at the bigger picture and the brighter side. This pandemic, it's just a matter of of it happening, and it happened, right? But let's look at what positive came out of it. For example, yes, we're gonna have masks. We're doing masks now and things like that. But another pandemic of another nature could have been worse. I mean, or could be possibly still lurking in the future. Nobody knows how the future is going to look like, right? And if that is the case, this, as wild, as crazy it is actually teaching us a few lessons on how to operate in the world. Maybe social distancing is a new factor. and it's going to be adjusted. Obviously, we'll figure out a way to survive it, to go back and to connect and work with everybody. But it had a lot of positive things, and I was thinking about what positive things possibly within this whole craziness, we can come up with. But if you look at it from a small angle, and we can take it to a large piece, I mean, even from a family perspective, from a personal perspective, I can tell you, you work, you work, we were working crazy, long hours. I was doing 12 hours a day, and I have no time with the family. And I would say, not thanks to COVID, but now that it happened, I have had the opportunity to spend more time with the family. Some people may laugh and say, like, oh my God, I don't want to spend any more time with the family because I'm ready to kill myself or kill someone. Well, families are families, right? It's not always going to be, peachy. But think about if you really wanted to spend time, just with yourself, and relax and not go to work or whatever. If that would be the case right now, it's not, it's okay. If you were driving, I was driving a couple hours each way every day, that's 4 hours a day of my life. That's 4 hours that I, had to be just on the road. I don't have to do that. So I try to find the positive myself in everything I do to actually, almost, accept and rationalize, this whole concept, for me. And, hopefully, maybe I will, I guess, give some of my own experiences of what I see and share with you guys. Hopefully, you'll take something out of it and maybe apply it. If not, you're already using the similar concept. But the fact is, looking at these things, right? So I'm giving an example of just me adjusting and being able to be with the family, being able to be home to see the kids, to spend more time at home, not commuting as much. That's a good thing. Now, obviously, it's restricting your life, right? But I've always been a person that looked at the cup half full versus half empty, and that is the difference in the mindset. It's a mindset. We can look at everything bad, or we can choose to see the other side of it, and see what positive we can think of to just kind of change and switch the mindset in itself. So again, looking at what's going on, I mean, we can see that we are changing our lives. It will change, definitely. I mean, now everybody's walking with masks. It's scary, but if everybody going after this, I mean, the good news is we're plateaued a little bit. Now it's the curve is going down. It's declining. That shows some promise. Around the world, some places are reopening, so that's promising. That's positive. But let's look at other things. I mean, a lot more people have been with their families more. It is good time in a way. A lot of people are actually not really. Going out, spending a lot of money. Obviously, that's very critical these days with people losing their jobs and things like that. But there are opportunities that will come up. And one of the things that I think about, all the time is, think about what is the worst that can happen, and then nothing else will become, any important. Because if you think about the worst that can happen, I mean, from an employment perspective, okay, we lose our jobs. I get it. I'm not working right now, and if you think about it, right, is it of concern? Yes, but can I change it now? No. But I know that things will change. I know there will be opportunities. As a matter of fact, there's going to be a shift, in a lot of things. I mean, even in the way we do business. I mean, I've been doing a lot of, podcasts and video conferencing here and things like that. And maybe that's a new way of how we're going to do business going forward. An example, for example, before, school, like doing the school work, homework at home or homeschooling was something that few people selected, and it was very difficult. And now, like I said earlier, it's becoming very popular, very common. People are adjusting to it. It's not the same. With a couple of tweaks, it might be the new norm. Who knows? I mean, maybe at least it would be something that would be common going forward. We're looking at, people used to, like in the business world, well, if you don't go to show up and clock in, you got an issue. Well, this proved that people still continue, at least the people that are working in the corporate world or whatever opportunity where you can actually do meetings and do a lot of the work through files and exchange and stuff, like, it happens. Some industries, while others have, really suffered, other industries have flourished. I mean, an example, I mean, I'm doing multiple feeds right now, but Zoom is on, and, couple of years back, people knew about Zoom. Some used it, and there's other platforms, but it just boomed up. Amazon was great, and now it's actually going crazy. I mean, Facebook, all the technology platforms actually, highlighting themselves to a degree and to a level that is different from where before. For example, also delivery services now are becoming more relevant, and they're probably going to be a future in that. Industries like the mass the incubators and all these types of medical tools and devices are going to be a whole new edge thing that people and industries are going to look into and making sure that they have that. It will become part of lifestyle, right? You have to have it. So it also taught us a lot of things that we possibly were taking for granted. Now we value things, as simple as electricity, maybe as simple as water, because if you can't go out there, you value what you have. You think about things now that you didn't think before, because it was just that. We cannot go out and hang out, in a cafeteria or a bar or whatever the case may be. It is changing us, right? But on the flip side, we have to look at what that means in the future. Could this have been happening with a different concept? It could. Obviously, something bad could have happened other than COVID-19, and it could be even worse, right? So again, I'm just trying to find the logic, piece, because there's no logic to the fact that we have an actual virus. It happened, whether, it's natural or otherwise, whatever, the theories out there, it doesn't matter. It happened. It exists. We have to coexist with it. We have to defeat it and work around it. And there are measures that we have to take and adapt to. Now, some people may choose the idea of like, no, that's the wrong thought. Well, we could, and you could. And here's the thing: you keep thinking negative. How is that gonna change anything for? It's not gonna help you. It's not gonna get you to be to behave differently. The only way for you to do that is to put that aside. Accept that it is nothing you can do about it, and then let's see what we can take from this lesson moving forward. Seeing opportunities from it. Yes, unemployment, that's a big deal. Okay, well, people are furloughed, people are unemployed. It is crazy all over. I mean, it's it's the hottest unemployment that we've had experienced since the last depression or the last crisis in 2008, and but. Ultimately, we're going to go back, we're going to reopen, the world is going to start back again, and the same jobs that actually lost their folks are going to probably be looking at recruiting those people back, right? So you have the expertise, you have the knowledge, they're going to need you, you have the experience, you're going to be needed. Now, if the way life that we know it today is going to change in terms of how we interact, how we go to restaurants, how we do certain things, in that same aspect, there will be a need of adjusting the roles that actually, get that done. So I would rather choose to think about that and see me end there versus me seeing, well, the word ended and there's nothing. Because if the word ended and there's nothing you could do, well, what are you going to do? I mean, that's it. It ends it right there. We don't want that. What we want to think is like, how do we move from here forward and still adjust our lives and adapt to whatever is going on and see what it is. So what's the worst case? I mean, I know some people would think really like, well, this guy's nuts. Maybe when going back to business is going to be different, but if everybody eventually gets a test, which will probably happen in the next few months, that's going to be the new norm. So you will maybe taste it. So you got right now some companies, if you smoke, you can't work. Some companies, you have to do drug tests, right? Well, maybe going forward, the way it's going to go, if you actually, get hired, you're going to have to do COVID. And maybe you can do it just like the TB test, frequently. And if that's the case, you do it. Now, ultimately, if you have it and you're negative, the odds of you having it, it will be, so it'll be frequencies that you would do that. Maybe there is, in some places you'll have access. So I work in a company where, you walk in, you have an actual metal detector to go in against guns. Well, maybe that instead of that, you will have an actual temperature check, that you walk in to. Now, that's not a guarantee that you don't have an actual virus, because you can pop up Tylenol and walk into your office. The idea is that also we have to be responsible and look at it from a positive end. Do we want to actually be sick and transpose that and transmit that to somebody else? No, because that's exactly what happened. We, as a community overall, we've actually refused to actually adhere to the actual guidances early on. we all didn't believe, for the most part, that it was real and it was dangerous. But also, we were given information that stated that it was only for a particular population. The risk was there. People sometimes don't even feel it, and so people say, okay, I can get it. It's okay. It's not gonna, it's not gonna hurt. But we realize it's not just that. It's not about particular population. It is bad because it does pass on from one person to the other, and all it takes is one person to go to a public place, and then everybody else takes it, and it's like. It's as crazy as it sounds. It's like ant bait. One ant comes into the bait, grabs, the poison, takes it back to the actual hive, and then everybody dies. So it's dangerously, equal to that level, right? And but we have to still think that we can't do anything about it from what happened in the past, but we can learn from it and move on and see how we can adapt to it and adjust ourselves going forward. We have to look at the positive. I mean, there will be industries that will be, emergent from this. There will be, roles that will be emergent from this. Telemarketing and telesales will probably be the biggest thing. Call centers are going to get booming again. That's an opportunity. So there's a lot of people that may be able to get their roles there. So also think about this one. Maybe this is the opportunity where you were in a dead-end job. You were in a place where you were not happy, you were there because you were collecting a check. And this could be the good reason why you're going to get something different. Again, just thinking positive. That may, maybe this is not a satisfying, thought, but just thinking about it positively is going to change, your way of thinking, your depression level, your stress level, everything is going to be, turning, because it's really just how you look at things. Again, I personally had bad experiences, good experiences. I've been from no money to some money to no money, and it goes up and down. So you got ups and downs, and every time it goes down, I know that it has nowhere to go but up. And when it goes very up, I know that you could be one day where it goes back down. So as long as I'm prepared mentally that place is always there, and I can come back and bounce back, then I actually set my mind to stay positive and don't think negative about it, because it's not going to do any favor. And that's the other thing. It's thinking negative equals almost like thinking in panic mode, and that usually creates more problems. As opposed to thinking positive and opening your mind and seeing like what else positive out of this, what can we get from this whole experience, and then you'll start seeing value of things and in a different light, and it will help you at least physically and mentally to see better. Take the time now, while you have this opportunity, it's a sabbatical, that is forced on us. Well, let's take time to do something with it. Don't just, linger and sleep on the couch. Get up, do some exercise, talk to friends, catch up with all the folks that you could not, have a chance to talk to in a while. Fix your house, do something, keep it positive. It will pass. We will prevail. Humanity always prevails, okay? Stuff happens. Bad things happen. I mean, countries got decimated in World War II, and they're like the number ones, and up there in the 10 tier, countries in the world right now. Europe was destroyed. Japan was destroyed in World War II. At least, a couple of cities were decimated, right? And now they are power. You have to look at always, in a positive light. It happened. It happens now. Things can happen. And the good news is, think about what we've learned from this COVID-19. If we actually apply exactly these types of measures, there's no other virus that can get us after this, because we will be prepared to any virus, because the conditioning, the way we're going to operate, will actually prevent us from being able to transmit or get or catch anything else, because we will know how to behave differently. We have the value now of what bleach is. We have value of hand sanitizer. A lot of people didn't even care about those things before. Now you have that style in your mind. Now we think about those things. Lysol was okay. It's a product, we buy it, we spray it all over the place. Now it's valuable, right? It's gold. I mean, paper towels, toilet paper, which as just a little joke and levity here, but we see value in things now that we haven't seen before, and that's the positive way of looking at things versus looking at it like, oh, it's doomsday. This is life. It has ups and downs, and we all can be impacted on any given day. There are people that are touched obviously more than others, and our hearts, our thoughts, go to all those families that have been impacted, and any one of us could have been in their shoes and could still be in their shoes. Again, if we all do this together, we all help each other keep ourselves positive during this time. We all feed from each other positive vibe. It's like it's like laughter, right? You laugh, it's contagious. But the same way, if it's you're gloomy and your mood and you're negative, everybody around you gets corrupted with negativity. Again, it's the same viral effect. It's just a different mental effect. So we need to be positive, keep positive, think positive, and keep life. I mean, life is beautiful, and we're gonna enjoy it. And the reason we actually are afraid because we love life. So to love life, you have to live it. You have to be positive. You have to enjoy it. You have to keep, your mind seeing always cup half full, not empty. See the values. See what potential we're getting from here versus, what we've lost. What we've lost, we can't bring back. But what we can bring back, what we can, switch, what we can, change, what we can actually replace, what we lost with. Think about all the stuff. Each one of us is capable of making that mindset shift. We can do it. You can do it. Again, it is important that everyone sees it, feels it, and adjust to it and work with it. It's really as simple as that. Please, embrace it. Please, don't feed into too much negative. If you watch a lot of negative, stuff, it will have an impact on you. I always say it. I'm a firm believer that if you keep seeing negative, all you see is negative. If you then you start thinking negative. You keep seeing the positive of everything, or at least admit and accept that certain things, what happened is already ordained. Even if you're not a religious person, if you don't really believe in fate, well, even if you don't believe in fate, you can't change it. Call it nature, call it, karma, whatever it is, just, a math and physics, dilemma, but it is. It happened. You can't change it. We can make a move from it. We can turn, stuff. We can learn from it. That's positive. We can adjust, and move forward to it. That's positive. We can adjust our lifestyles to it, and we have to think. Now, creativity is going to be, hidden harder because now we all going to think about our own worlds and industries and businesses types. How can we do more? So there's going to be a lot more online, a lot more tele, stuff, call, businesses. So phone business, to, video conferencing. Holograms may be the next future now. We can start shooting each other, in a hologram and basically, beam ourselves into another place like space, like Star Trek stuff. Believe it or not, while it's far-fetched, it's not that far-fetched because it could be real. It could be virtual. We talk about virtual meetings, virtual training and stuff. We have some technology that can help doing that. Dividers, maybe, you go to the stores now, they adjusted, they have these partitions. You cannot communicate, maybe the mask can be a little bit more. Maybe we can put, like a template of your face with a breather. And now you actually have, you can look you and have, a breather. Again, I'm literally being funny about it, but maybe that's a technology, maybe something that's a device we can create. It's not a mask. It's actually, a 3D version of your face mask, with a breather thing that you can, wear. And now you're actually looking good, looking the part, but at the same time you can. There's a lot of stuff, maybe digital things that you can touch and, from a distance. There's voice activation now can be the best thing. So there's a lot of stuff that could happen. Let's think about what would be something that will turn things for you positively in your own situation. We all kind of share the same common ground right now, the same denominator. We're all under lockdown. We're all under, crazy, but let's do something positive with it. Let's take the time to, read books, catch up on your flicks, whatever the case may be. Do some exercise, pump up, get some muscles there, whatever. I know you learn something. YouTube, you can learn everything in there. Do that. Keep your family, in a positive. Sit down, enjoy yourselves, because one day you go back and we're going to be busy again, and we'll be like, oh man. That's in our world. We hear all the time. I don't have time. Sorry, I don't have time. I'm so busy. Well, now we have plenty of time, and we cannot complain now that we have plenty of time. Let's take advantage of it and use it to the best of our abilities. If you're religious, do prayers. Whatever the case, whatever works for you. This is a good time. Look at it's not a good time. Ultimately, we already established that we have a problem. And this problem is beyond any one of us, right? And, everybody's trying to scramble and see. And we don't know the source of this problem, whether it's bad or otherwise, it happened. You can't change that. We can speculate, we can go crazy, and, but what's that going to give us? Nothing, headaches. keep positive, keep the momentum. Think about how you can turn this, into a positive thing. See opportunity. Maybe now if you're a business owner or whatever, maybe there's your products, you have to shift them to something that's going to be more, in terms of what, gloves, I don't know, masks, whatever. So think of something that you possibly can win from this to take, from negative to positive. Change your mindset. Keep positive, think positive, and your mind is going to help you. Even physically, if your mind is actually not feeling good, your body's not going to feel good. If your mind is positive and you're like energized and you're happy, you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It will be there. I guarantee you this. Doesn't matter how long, we will prevail. It is already past the hardest ship. Now, however, the hardship, or the hardest point of the hardship, However, if we go back right away and we just open up, nothing happened, we could go back. So we still have to be careful and cautious. But at the same time, let's think about, we've gone through this now. We can do it. We can do it better because now we're aware, and now we're aware of this, regardless of what other virus may even demonstrate, or manifest in nature or in a lab. It doesn't matter. We can actually be prepared, and our lifestyle, will change to a degree. That lifestyle maybe will protect humanity going forward. Look at the bright side. Earth has actually, been, cleansed a little bit because we don't have cars. The actual CO2 levels are in the lowest level since the last 75 years. Is that positive? That's positive. Let's look at that. What does that mean to us? That means we can breathe better air. That means, the nature is not going to give us all these maybe storms, whatever. Now, we're worried about this particular, the pandemic, but earthquakes do shudder. Other things can happen. Volcanoes, tornadoes, hurricanes can happen, and it's tragic, and then we can't stop them, right? We can't even predict those. The other thing, look at the bright side. I have not heard about war. That's a good news. I hate, killing. I hate people, killing each other and humanity killing each other. Well, we don't have war. So while, yes, people are dying, from a natural, pandemic, or a pandemic, let's call it for what it is, but in other words, borders are closed. People are respecting each other. Neighbors are actually, respecting. There's more unity today. It's like, in the movies, you worry about aliens invading, the earth, and we all get together to actually fight the aliens, as one human, kind. But guess what? Now we're doing that against an actual alien virus, or some virus that is actually, we can't even see. But so similarly, it brought humanity together. We all actually are doing better as a mankind. So I'm thinking that way. I just wanted to think. I choose to think that way, and that's just my way. And I'd like to share this feed with you, this flame of positive thinking. And again, if you see value to it, please take it. If not, there's nothing I can tell you other than, what. There's nothing that's going to help you if you just keep thinking negative, because that's all. Negative is negative. What you see is what you get, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, the day you can change that, then maybe positive thinking may not be for you, but positive thinking is your outcome. This is the only solution for you at this point to actually see better. And if you apply it in this worst case nightmare, you can apply it in your life, in business and personal, and stay positive. It does not hurt. It will see the bright, light in every single situation. There is, like I said, one